Hello everyone and welcome. It's been a while since the last F1 2015 video, and we're here at Hungary for round 10 of the F1 Game DE PC League 1 in Season 6, and yeah, I think this race was recorded in October or early November. I'm not too sure. So it's been quite a while since that race, and it's certainly one of the last videos of this season, the second to last actually I'm making. And it's actually at a track I never had a league race so far, and practice. I remember my PB was a 20.6 so far in front of that session here, and we're actually on our third run here because I abandoned the first two runs, and we're breaking down into second gear for the first corner. Nice apex, and hitting the apex nicely and opening the DRS as early as possible, not to get any wheel spin down into third gear for the second corner, running a little bit deep, but good speed through there and a good exit as well. And let's see what our time will be in comparison to Fat First, who's at the moment in pole position, and we're almost a little bit more than half a tenth up into third gear for the right-hander here. Also a good exit, and now approaching the chicane here on the limit there on the first apex, and not much wheel spin here in the third gear for this S section. A little bit wide, but a late apex there, which is certainly the key in this corner, and into fifth gear, not extending at the end of the second sector, and we're still purple, only 300ths of a second, and nailing that right-hander just about. And down into second gear for the second to last corner, running a little bit too deep, and also not the best exit out of there. And now approaching the last corner, and we're looking for a very nice exit, which we managed to do, and it's a 120.2, which is my PB at that point by 4 tenths. A very nice lap in my opinion, and only half a tenth behind Fat First, who had a very impressive time there, 120.1. Shadow of Army so in P3, the championship leader at this point. FD with a good qualifying and fourth out. Zame's a little bit further down, only in P5, 1.2 seconds off. Big Z is in 6th, Magnussen in 7th, Copa in 8th, and my teammate completing the field. If you remember that back, he got a quali ban for the qualifying lap in Silverstone, so he's starting at the back of the field, but still in P9. I mean, 9 people, but it's still fun racing because we are pretty equal on race page, which is fairly good, and we are able to go side by side here also in this game. As we're waiting for the lights to go on, 5 lights. And away we go for round 10. We're looking for a good start here. Yes, we have a good start off the line, but Fat First does also, and Shadow even better than us has the slipstream of Fat First, and we're having the inside line for the first corner, and we have to leave Shadow a little bit of room here on the outside. With too much wheel spin, he's going straight into the slipstream and goes into the on the inside here for the second corner, and we can not defend that position, can we? No, he's going past. I think we also let him pass because we do not want any crashes or something at the start of the race. FT stayed in P4, I think. And 2 cars actually dropping off. I think that's Copa and Magnussen. I'm not too sure, but I think these two are the ones who had a start crash there. And we just try to keep it with Fat and Shadow, which are our rivals in the championship, which both are in front actually, in front of us in the championship so far. But we just try to keep it with them, and also saving a little bit of fuel, which is certainly very important if I have clean air, and then use the rich mixture. It could be the key. First of all, we have to stay with them, and completing the first lap. Also already 8 tenths behind Shadow, which is not too good. Just try to do our best here. It's in the apex nicely for turn 1. And you can see on the minimap my teammate already into P5, which is fairly good to see for him. And yeah, completing the first sector now, and Shadow actually very close to Fat, and skipping to lap 7. I think my teammate got past FD, who hasn't had the pace, I think, in so far in this race, and yeah, we still very much close to Fat and Shadow. Now Fat makes a little bit of a gap because Shadow made 1 or 2 minor mistakes into this section. And yeah, we saved huge amounts of fuel, which is fairly good. It's a plus 1.17 it is at the moment, and there goes Shadow into the pits, which is looking like the 3-stop strategy. It was the question of whether going onto a 2-stop strategy with option prime option, or a 3-stop strategy also with option prime option, option prime, or option prime option, or whatever. Just putting in that prime stint somewhere. And my teammate and me, we planned to do a 3-stop, and at the end of that lap, our tire is starting to go off slightly. Fat going into the pits, as you saw that there. Kluski staying out for another lap. Main lap 8, and now in the pretty they're fairly late for a 3-stop, I think, but we just wanted to make a shorter stint on the prime tires because the options are, I think, 1 second faster per lap than the primes. So. And we just wanted to get rid of them or make a short stint at the end. Fat first pitted onto the prime tires. And let's see where we're coming out in comparison to Shadow. There goes Shadow, but he does not. The undercut on Fat didn't work. Actually, the undercut on this game is pretty huge, maybe 2 seconds or something per lap sometimes. And joining in net P3, which is fairly good. Pretty not very eventful for us to race so far. Shadow got spinned off the curb into the wall and loses his front wing, which has a huge impact on the on the championship so far, because he has to stop another time. And now is after that he's a pit stop behind Fat and me, and he is, I think his lead is not too big anymore. Maybe 20 points or something to Fat, so it's looking pretty good for Fat and me to make up some points on Shadow. And on lap 10, yeah, we're on the prime tires. We're setting a new fastest lap of the race, and Fat fairly now is under pressure. And we already here on the inside, but no, that does not work for the moment. We just have to clear him as soon as possible, because I do not know if that is his very long prime stint where he just does a 2-stop strategy, or if this is his prime stint for the 3-stop strategy. And if this, in both cases, we have to clear him as quickly as we can, possibly at the end of this lap on the straight. Yes, we're clearly fast at the moment. We're also having much more grip. He has more wheel spin here out of that chicane than we do, and more understeer. You can see how close we are now, and which is fairly good also for our teammate, who is now only 1 point somewhat seconds behind us. 1 second. I think he gained 7 tenths in the middle sector, which is which just shows how much time we are losing here behind Fat at the moment. Surely this is now the passing location number 1 on this track, and we're having a good exit out of that corner, and we're in slipstream. And he's not going defensive, and we already cleared him sort of in front into the first corner. Yes, sort of not the best exit. He has a sort of a switchback maneuver here, still on our outside. We have to leave him room for the outside into turn 3, but that's not gonna work for him. He can't go on the switchback here, not yeah, into turn 3, and That's us into P1 for the moment, which is something I did not really expect after, I mean, I won 2 races so far in this season, which is Monaco and Austria, both are tracks where I'm very, very good at. And I never had a league race so far at Hungary, so I didn't really know how good my pace is in comparison to the others. And so far it looks pretty good. Not the best, but it's competitive at least. And we just now have to pull a gap here on Fat First, already 8 tenths to him. As soon as possible, as quickly as possible. Now in Rich also, so we will stay in Rich, I think, for this entire stint. Just to oh no, you can see on the map behind Klawitsky and Fat had a huge impact into the second to last corner. There was a lag incident sort of. Very, very unfortunate, especially for both of them, and I mean, it certainly gives us a little bit more breathing space for the moment. And lap 17, you can see my teammate is 10 seconds behind me, and Fat further 3 seconds or something, and is now in front of his teammate. His name is both on the prime tires at the moment. And we're planning to do our second pit stop right about now, at the end of this lap, I think. And we still have a little bit of fuel to use, which is fairly good. And here we go. Yeah, the game takes over. Takes the car over a little bit stupid, actually. I think if I would be able to drive that pit entry, it would be a little bit faster, but it's the same for everyone, so yeah, it's not too bad. Klawitsky takes the lead for the moment for 1 lap. He will come into the pits 1 lap later, and it will be very, very interesting what Fat and Azami of both Ferraris are doing, which is certainly now a Toro Rosso and Ferrari battle for the win at the moment, for the top places. And just have to be a little bit cautious with that. Very, very cold tires. You can see it's fairly not too easy. So unsteering a little bit off the track there. You do not really want to do that, because that curb is very dangerous, as you saw that. Perfect example was Shadow a couple of laps ago. And Magnussen currently in P5, not anymore, as we're now skipping to lap 20, and Fat and Azamis didn't pit so far, which looks pretty like a 2-stop strategy so far, because I mean there are only 15 laps, and 15 laps on 2 set of options is more than possible, and they're not going into the pits, and we are already catched up to them, which is fairly not good for them, but good for me. But it's certainly the only chance after that incident Fat had with Klawitsky, and same as having huge wheel spin out of that corner, and just sort of trying around the outside of the into the second corner, and we're leaving him well enough room here on the inside, and that's the move done on the same as, and we're now straight into the back, yeah, very much behind Fat now, which is our next car. And again, task is clear him as soon as possible, because they will pit in the next 2 or 3 laps or something for option tires, and then they will have an undercut from maybe 2 or 3 laps, and then I'm on my prime stint, and then they're on a little bit more one option stint, but at the start of my stint they're still faster, because that option stint is so much faster than the primes. So we have to pull a gap here before they pit. That's our task. That's our task. Fat already going defensive into the second to last corner, and we just try to have a good exit out of them, running a little bit, maybe a little bit too wide entry there. Now as Ames on the inside, we have to leave him a little bit of room, but we're having a fairly nice exit, and this time Fat goes defensive, but I do not think that will help him much, as we are braking as late as possible into second gear, and round the outside. There's nothing Fat can do with these old prime tires. Into first place once again. and now it's looking pretty good for us, but still, it will be the question: when will Fett and Azamus pit, and will they come out in front of me or not? And now on lap 24, you can see Azamus pitted 1 lap earlier, so he's going for a 13-lap stint on the option type, which is fairly not impossible, but at the end they will be worn as somewhat. But Azamus has been a very, very good tyre conservative driver so far this season. And as Fett now goes into the pits 1 lap later than his teammate, and Klawitsky catched up a little bit to us, 7.8 seconds. You remember that maybe one stint before it was 10 seconds, so he catched up maybe 3 seconds or something in that stint, which is fairly good for him. He's staying out another lap, and we're now coming into the pits to do a 8-lap stint on the prime tires, and you can see there Azamus and Fett on the option tires, and they're the front runners now. But it's looking good for us that we will stay in front of them, which is very, very good for the moment. But as I mentioned before, now they will be faster. At the moment, they will be surely faster, more than half a second per lap, I assume. I predicted. So this will be very crucial to stay in front in this next couple of laps, and that they will not pass us. And then at the end, we have the fresher tires and the better grip to stay in front. And now lap 28, everyone has made their final pit stop, and also Klawitsky not too far behind these two here, so maybe also he has something to say about it. On 22.4, you can see that, I mean, these prime tires are not really the tires you want to go along with. And now starting lap 30, and now Fett got past Azamus after Azamus was not really able to get into the DRS zone of us. And now Fett, who's certainly maybe a little bit faster at this track, is now right behind us on lap 31, only 3/10, and this will be his in the next 1 or 2 laps. This will be this is his only chance maybe to get past us, because afterwards it will be too late for his tires. They will be worn, very, very worn. And we just try to nail those X's out into the straight and into Rich. And he's certainly close, but not too close. But he's going for the dive bomb here at and into turn 1, and there's a little bit of contact there, but nothing too major. But I mean, we both tried to leave as little room as possible, and a little bit of contact there, but we're staying in front for the moment. Certainly didn't expect him to to make a move from that far back. He was pretty far back, but I mean, you saw that overall in the season his braking was just very, very impressive. And now we're staying in front for the moment, but maybe he have another go at the end of this lap here. And I mean, we are not really, but we also have to watch a little bit out for our fuel. We're here straight into optimal, but that is will be pretty. We also have to watch out for that. And now as a look at that, Klawitsky almost catched up to this front group here, which is fairly good for us. Maybe he also has a chance to get past Azamus. We're making a wide approach here into the final corner, and Fett not getting a good exit out of that corner. And now Azamus side by side with Fett, which is certainly not that what Fett is wanting, and he's braking far too late. And now Azamus, I think, got past him. Yes, he does, and that was maybe the key for us to stay in front for the moment. And now we just have to concentrate for 3 more laps to stay in front of these Ferraris. And at the end of the lap 35, Fett is behind us 1.4 seconds, and this will be our 3rd win of the season, I think, if we are coming cleanly through the final corner. You can see in the minimap, Azamus and Klawitsky dropped back a little bit because they had another incident where both spun, I think. And we're coming home in P1 despite not having the best pace out of everyone, comparing lap times after the race with each other. I think I was 5th fastest, but I came through cleanly. I had a perfect strategy that worked out perfectly for me, and yeah, in the Ferrari sandwich here on the podium, and that I was very, very happy and a little bit surprised about that win. And here's the champagne. So, yeah, again, third win of the season, very crucial also for this championship, as I think Shadow finished 5th. Yes, Shadow finished 5th with 10 points, 24 seconds his gap in the end. So, I mean, yeah, a pretty close race despite only 9 people, with 2 people not finishing. I mean, these top 4 were very, very close together through the entire race. It was fairly exciting, that one. And also was really, I mean, I just really had to concentrate to defend that position on the last 5 or 6 laps, which is, yeah, was pretty intense. Fastest lap goes to Shadow with a 1:20.9, or actually a 1:21 flat, almost. And yeah, here the Drivers' Championship standings. Shadow now leading 12 points in front of Fat, and we're only 5 points behind him, so that's looking pretty goodly at the moment. Zame is 1 point in front of Klawitsky. The H in 6th. I mean, he retired from the season. I don't know why he's in this thingy here, in this graphic. Copa in 7th, FD in 9th, Magnussen in 10th, Big Z in 10th, sorry. Kenny then, who's also not racing anymore, Guerrilla, Sadie, who's not racing anymore, and Sneaky, who's will not be racing. So, Constructors, Ferrari leading, of course, in front of the Sauber, which is pretty much only Shadow at the moment. Only 5 points separates us from the Saubers, which is fairly good. McLaren's in 4th, Mercedes, Force India, Red Bull, and then Williams. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, and I see you next time for the last episode of that season 6 at F1 2015. The F1 Game D in this F1 Game D season. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Bye bye.